In this demo, I'm going to show you how to determine the light source, how to make a value chart, and then show how we add shading to the drawing. So our volunteer here is our little owl friend here, and he has a light source shining on it. And the first thing you want to do when you are drawing something that has a light source is just to kind of observe it. Ask questions. Where's the light coming from? Is it coming from the top? Is it coming from the bottom? Is it coming from the back? Is it coming from the front? A good way to determine this is the direction of the cast shadow on the ground. So this light source is coming from the top at an angle. You see the highlights. That's where it hits first. It's kind of blown out a little bit. Light likes to wrap around objects, so it's going to wrap around the object. You're going to go from full-blown exposure to various grays, to various darks, to very dark cast shadows, and it's going to kind of, what I like to say, the dark side of the moon. It's going to wrap around it. So that helps right there. Just doing that and asking questions where the light source is coming from, and then just asking question, how is the light wrapping around the object? Where is the shadow? So we're just going to leave that there for right now, and I'm going to start drawing, doing what we've been doing so far, using restated and contour lines. We're going to be drawing basic shapes first, and then we're going to break it down in shapes within shapes. So I'm going to first draw a circle. There's lots of different kind of shapes that make up this owl head, lots of geometric shapes, so that should be helpful with a quick kind of contour restated line drawing. I'm not going to think too much. When you're drawing something with a shadow, treat the shadow as an object. So here's my cast shadow over here. And remember, don't worry about perfection. You just want to explore the drawing as a whole, moving around the object, adding a little bit more information. If you can't figure out the information right away, fake it till you make it. Just add something, and then you can refine with each lap you take. I'm mostly using restated lines right now to get a sense. I'm starting to get a little bit of an idea of the shapes, so then I'm probably going to switch gears to contour lines. If you feel yourself getting kind of sucked into the drawing, spending too much time in one area, be mindful of that, and then just kind of move on to the next section of the drawing. This triangle beak in the eyes are kind of sucking me in, so I got to be aware that I'm not defaulting to a symbol, but I'm actually drawing what I am seeing. I've been kind of neglecting the shadow a little bit, so now if you find yourself kind of not having enough room, just go off the page. It's fine. You never want to cram it in there. All right. So I feel like I got a little something. I'm going to draw with my eraser to kind of clean it up a little bit and see what I have going on here. There's a shape here, the shape here, there's my eye, something here, there's the triangle. I'm still drawing with ease, with very kind of looseness. Drawing is give and take. So I like to say don't be precious with your lines. You know, there's some lines that help you get into the drawing and then thank them for their service and you move on. They're no longer needed. All right, now I'm going to switch gears to highlight the shapes better. Still drawing basic shapes. I'm not getting too complicated here, but I am getting close where I'm going to be exploring the shapes within shapes. And what are some of the shapes within shapes? You know, we have this is a line here, so that's going to be a contour line, but then we have some shapes within shapes. All these kind of like sub shapes. You know, those will be, I'm going to be concentrating on them now. There's a triangle right here, there's a smaller triangle within a rectangle. Obviously this beak, upside down triangle. All right, we have the main eye, but then we have an eye within an eye, right? The iris here. All right. All right. So I've did a basic drawing, basic shapes, shapes within shapes, contour lines, restated lines. I've evaluated the light source. Now I'm going to make a value chart. The value chart will help us add more information, more shading, and a value chart is a good tool to help us know the variety of grays, the variety going from light to dark, and the value chart kind of helps us do that. So what you can do is that you just go ahead and make a rectangle. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to pick 5. Number 1 is going to be the lightest. Number 1, the lightest is always going to be your page. So you just leave that blank. The second is going to be, you're going to add a little bit of a line here. Then the next one is going to be your middle gray. So kind of explore your still lifes, see where the middle gray is. It's probably maybe somewhere around here, it seems like. So I added one set of lines over here. Maybe I might just add another line. Then I'm going to take it one step further. We're going to be entering on the other side of this beak. Maybe that's where we're going to find a little more darker. So I might add some more lines here. And then obviously the darkest is going to probably be our shadow. Or where the object is hitting the ground, usually that's where the darkest part of the still life is. So I might just go ahead and kind of go crazy and add more lines to this. I'm pretty casual when I'm making this value chart because, I don't really like to get too strict. But just by going through that simple exercise, it just kind of helps us in terms of what are the variety of grays that are in this still life. And how we do restate it in contour lines is kind of how you're going to add your value. You're going to pick out a section, maybe somewhere right here is where we might find value number 2, and we might just add some lines there. You're going to kind of scan your drawing and just, casually just add where you think value number 2 is. We're just going to keep it nice and light. Then I might go to value number 3. I had one line, I'm going to add another line. We're building up layers. And we're just kind of casually just filling in the drawing, not judging what it looks like. This is not supposed to be hardcore realism. We're just learning how to get shapes down on a page, shapes within shapes, and then figuring out the value in the shading, how the light is hitting this. I'm going to go ahead and just put like a nice base coat on this cast shadow here. What you see, what I'm not doing is that I'm not just coloring it in hardcore. I'm doing these in steps. Now number 4, let's see if we can find the 4 on the value chart. One good helpful hint is to go the direction of the shape. That will enhance your drawing. They don't all have to be straight lines. They can go with the curve or go with the, complement the shape. Value number 5, we're just going to take this now mostly on this side of the owl's face. We're really going to go in there, try to bring out some of these rich darks. One thing you might do is that if you feel like you want to switch it up and move to a more aggressive tone, we can move to this blue, and that might just help us cover more real estate in the drawing. Might help us cover more territory. This under part is a little difficult, so I'm just going to fake it till I make it. That's what you do. Sometimes there's different parts of the drawing that come to you right away, and there's other parts of the drawing where you just have to just be patient with it. Still some stuff over here that I need to kind of pop out. All right. And that is my demo of determining the light source, creating a value chart, and then just how we kind of casually fill things in with different mark making. You saw me switch tools in and out. The goal here is not a photorealism, but is really like how we evaluate and how we build things in stages and in layers. Through this process, you will gain more confidence as you make each lap around the still life, and slowly add in all your different types of information. A lot of this is just repetition. You're going to hear me repeat myself. Basic shapes, shapes within shapes, determining the light source, and then slowly going in. You notice I just didn't color in one area. I filled in the value as a whole. I worked the drawing as a whole, and I let everything kind of come into focus, letting the drawing come to me.